Hello. Good
Hello.
Sunday evening to everyone. Happy solstice.
Hello.
To mute the stream, dear. There we go. How is everyone tonight? Welcome to this first episode of Out and Loud, which is our LGBT music show. Kind of thinking of it like CD UK for the gays. And yes, me and Stu are that old. That reference, very current. How are you, Stu? How are you today?
I'm pretty good. I'm doing all right. Just looking forward to this. Bit nervous because it's my first one actually like hosting a show. But yeah, it should be quite fun. And we've got some good videos. Very excited.
So if you haven't been to either of our shows before, I'm Claire, I'm from Wig in a Box Promotions. Wig in a Box Promotions is this channel now. It's a promotions company usually, and I'm a producer of LGBTQ plus cabaret shows and quite niche cabaret shows at that. And Stu, would you like to introduce yourself and what you get up to?
Yeah, so Punker is essentially an indie rock club night and gigs for the LGBTQ plus community. It ranges from sort of alternative drag to bands. When we have bands on, we have either drag king or queen as a host. So they're quite different in terms of gigs. They're like a punk cabaret. So they're, a little bit different to your normal gigs. And yeah, at the club night, we try and focus more on sort of female fronted bands because they don't tend to get a lot of attention in most of the indie nights that you go to. They tend to be always like the Killers and Oasis and things like that. And I wanted to bring a bit of Riot Girl, a bit of punk, a bit of everything. So
the two of us got together about, what was it now? 2 years ago, 3 years ago? It feels like forever ago. But just to produce shows together because one, we obviously are very good friends, but also we both have that kind of punk rock ethos, like really enjoy the DIY scene and things like that. So you can expect some real, like probably kind of little things you've never seen before from this show. So without further ado, after saying that, we've got our first act. Now, this act, actually, I don't know if this is here on the chat, but this actually turned me on to this person when I was doing a show called Queercore, which is usually at the Exchange. Shout out to the Exchange in Bristol. Queercore is a show that kind of takes that punk rock stuff I was just on about and but with a little bit of drag and a bit of alternative, and I can go proper gory with it, and I just like, it's kind of that club kids kind of feel. And this person, I saw a video of theirs, got absolutely obsessed and just loved them. So without further ado, here is the wonderful Baby Tap. Oh, and this is their new video, brand new, no one's seen it.
No one's seen it at all. This is a premiere.
So here is Baby Tap.
Woo!
Yo, bitch, you eat your doggy biscuit while I snack on sushi. Give the bitch a bone, give daddy a blunt juicy. Pop you up on post, we post that poodle like a poochie. Tiny fucking chihuahua in diaper made of Gucci. Aqua baby Evian, shower me in Fuji. You could snap a nude when we fuck in the jacuzzi. Baby feeling woozy like I spit that rump and booty. Squirtle blow a jet of bubbles like you pop me with an Uzi. Miserable and moody, looking like a newbie. Bitch, I'm baking broccoli, I'm giggly, got goofy. I don't mean to be a cunt, but that don't mean excuse me. I don't mean to be a douche, but that don't mean reuse me. You don't wanna fuck with me, bitch, I will come over to your property. You don't wanna fuck with me, bitch, I will come over with the gasoline. Burn the house down, I don't care if it kills me. Burn the house down, I don't care if it kills me. Burn the house down, I don't care if it kills me. You don't wanna fuck with me. Balloon pop and get dizzy, pop it like a pop and get dizzy. dizzy. Pop it like a pop rock, lick me. I am fucking busy. He want me with sex knees, mouth open like a dentist. You know I'm an experimentalist. Fuck it up with a big drill, chainsaw. Feed my flesh and gore to starfishes on the seashore. Yeah, and then I grill him like halloumi. Watch a movie, munch snacks like Scooby. Smoke a doobie, all the while he wanna do me. Red I flip a card, give me O like Yugi. I drop a suicide pill because I've had it up to here with your quivering shit. Itchy fucking bitches out for the kill. They putting makeup on the hounds of the Baskerville. You don't wanna fuck with me, bitch. I will come over to your property. You don't wanna fuck with me, bitch. I will come over with the gun. Burn the house down. I don't care if it kills me. Burn the house down. I don't care if it kills me. Burn the house down. I don't care if it kills me. You don't wanna fuck with me. You don't wanna be a silly Billy, bitch. I will kill Bill and cut you off by the Achilles. Lashes on a biggie make me giggle cause it's pretty. Then we slit this white throat, spill the blood for the committee. Burn the house down. I don't care if it kills me. Burn the house down. I don't care if it kills me. You don't wanna fuck with me. I get dizzy. Pop it like a pop rock, lick me. I am fucking busy.
So that was Baby Tap with Burn the House Down. Gave us that video for this. So thank you so much, Baby Tap. Absolutely adore it. It's definitely tickled this one's fancy because he loves a bit of Mortal Kombat.
The Mortal Kombat, you did that for me. Yeah, that was amazing. That was amazing. Fair play.
Stu hadn't watched that yet. Stu saved it for watching it in real time. So that was
that was my first time.
Yeah, thank you so much, Baby Tap, for that. Obviously, go with everyone that's playing tonight. Do go find them on all of their Instagrams, Facebooks, all those things. I'll be putting a link as well for where you can find all their music and you can download their music. You can also tip all performers tonight, and they will get everything that's given into the Ko-fi pot, which is links down below on the channel here. It's really obviously really difficult time for everyone at the moment. I can appreciate that, but we do all this for free. Entertainment does take time though, and it doesn't pay. So please, if you can, just chuck a few quid and support local artists and support LGBTQ artists, because the struggle is real at the moment. So
yeah, I mean, to add to that, if you follow them on Spotify, if you have Spotify, watch their YouTube videos, things like that. The best thing you can do at the minute as well on Spotify is add their songs to your playlist, because you never know who's going to listen to those playlists. It helps with the algorithms. It helps people just expand their fan base as well. It really does help them out. So I know it might sound crazy, but if you do have something that might actually help someone, it's going to be things like playlists and YouTube hits and things like that, as well as tipping them. So yeah, just if you like what you see, then follow them.
Follow them, download their music, pay for it. We're creating art here, and art, it takes time, it takes money of our own, so it's not just for the love of it. Unfortunately, we do need to get a little bit of money too. So next up, so if you've been to a Wig in a Box show before, or if you've seen us on here before, you will have met both of these performers before. They are part of the Wig in a Box punker family. We do have a family, we're old school like that. Our family span the whole of the UK, and we absolutely love them. This, who is one half of this incredible duet, is one of my dearest friends and also is a co-host with me on this channel a lot of the time, so please do follow Dis on Instagram. They have been incredibly prolific through this time, making lots and lots of different videos with a lot of amazing covers, but also artistic kind of videos and things like that. And then we've also got Jada Love, who we all love Jada. Jada is a neo-burlesque performer, and also she's also a stripper. And at this time, sex work and our work is really, really hard on the online platforms, and we don't really have a place. We manage to do things like this, kind of cobble it together, but we don't actually have a place. So do support these performers, because they also are creating essential stuff and just real fun stuff. Jada also has been unbelievably fucking creative in this time. Like every fucking day I get a new video through of something amazing that they've created, and just, yeah. So you very much, do you want to do the intro for this actually, because this is their song?
So for my favourite band in the world, everyone who knows me knows, is Garbage. Garbage are life to me. They have been, like, Shirley Manson has been my idol since I was a teen, and has helped me through a hell of a lot in terms of just their music and their interviews, all sorts of things. So when I found out that Jada and Dis were covering this song, it meant a lot to me, because as a fan, but also, you know, in terms of the message that it sends, you know, sex work is work, and we do support it. We support, you know, the queer community. We support Black Lives Matter. So we just want to make sure that they have a platform for this, but also obviously we just want to show you what amazing stuff they've been doing. And obviously this has a very, very strong message. So enjoy.
Sometimes it depresses me. The same old, we keep repeating history. The institution curses curiosity. It's our conviction. Sex is not the enemy. A revolution is the solution. A revolution is the solution. I don't feel guilty no matter what they're telling me. I won't feel dirty and buy into their misery. I won't be shamed. I believe that love is great. It fuels the heart, and sex is not my enemy. Ooh. Ooh. A revolution is the solution. There's not enough to go around, but then there's God, and doesn't God love everyone? Give me a choice, give me the chance to turn the key and find my voice. Sex is not the enemy. It's the solution. Ooh, a revolution. It's the solution. Sex is not the enemy. Sex is not the enemy. Ooh. 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 Oh. Ooh.
How fucking good was that? We're spoiling you already. You will know, because if you have been to one of our shows, either of our shows, you will know that we very much spoil you. Our last experience of live shows together was we did a big all-dayer back in February. That was, oh, it was pretty great, wasn't it? It was
yeah.
We had lots of different performers. We had loads of different bands, one of which is coming up shortly as well. And it was a day to kind of celebrate the queer community in Bristol and the queer community at large. And unfortunately, that queer community at the moment, we haven't seen them, obviously, like everyone else, in like 4 months. And it can feel quite difficult right now. I feel like it can feel a little bit too individualistic. We're kind of retreating in on ourselves a little bit. And I feel like shows like this online hopefully give you that kind of feeling that we are still in it together. It's a real scary world out there at the moment, especially for our community. And I just want to say right now as well that obviously trans lives matter. This week has been an utter shit show when it comes to the news to do with the government, both over here and over in America. And it's been incredibly upsetting for people like me who do identify as non-binary, but also obviously my trans sisters and brothers. And I just want to say, like, it's been so horrible to see, but do know that you have got the support still, and these spaces still do exist where we will keep fighting for your rights. If you are tired of it, which a lot of us are, we will still fight because it's what we believe in. So yeah, just wanted to put out there. I did a grandpa diss. When this isn't here, I do the politics. I'm not as eloquent as this, but the passion's there, and that's what matters.
I love it. That's what we want to hear.
So without further ado, Stu, would you like to introduce our next wonderful act?
Yeah, so this is gonna take things down. This is gonna chill us out a little bit, and then we'll ramp it up again. So as you know, we've got Billy from the Subways coming in later on. It's going to talk about everything from the 15th anniversary of their album to they're coming out as bisexual early this year, so it's going to be a really exciting chat. But the next video is going to be from an artist, a solo artist called DYVR. It's a DYVR if you want to have a look at their Facebook, if you want to check out the Spotify, anything like that. Incredible songwriter, incredible voice, as you will hear now. But this video was made specifically for us. So this is the new live version of the new single called Ocean. It's really beautiful. It was made in lockdown literally about a week ago. No one else has seen it apart from, well, you guys right now. So this is Ocean, and this is DYVR live.
Paint me a portrait, let the colors run. I knew you best to me, I didn't know enough. You're a Each song on the radio. 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 Each song on the radio.
Welcome back. That was stunning. I hadn't heard of that artist before, so thank you once again, Stu, for always giving me new recommendations.
Yeah, that was actually Julie from Hawk. So they're on the same record label, Vita Records, and we love Julie. We all love Julie. So
A
Hawk,
bit too much.
yeah. So it's Hawk with 2 V's instead of a W if you want to check them out too. But yeah, Diver is on their record label, and Judy sent me a live stream from of Diver a few weeks ago, and I just sat there like I did not know what to say. Just beautiful voice. Just to let you know as well, on Instagram, so if you go to @DYVR, DYVR, Diver does something called Queer Story Time. It usually happens on a Saturday around 2 o'clock every week or every couple of weeks. And it's basically just speaking to someone in the queer community about either an issue that's prevalent at the minute or just their story. I'm actually going to be on there on the 11th of July. So I'm going to be
that little thing in there, like
plug. I'll be on there. I'll be telling my story, which I haven't really sort of told everyone. And also just chatting about punker and...
Sorry, hold on a minute. You're gay?
Just a bit.
Didn't know. I
Just a
didn't
bit.
know.
Did the fairy lights not give it away? So yeah, check out Diver's music on Spotify as well. The other singles on there are just stunning. So we're just waiting for an album, let's face it. But thank you so much to them for sending us that. We do have their actual music video for that show, for that song as well. So at some point over the next few weeks, we'll probably play that too.
Amazing.
But yeah, that's definitely something that's chilled us out a bit for a minute.
Yeah, that's a good Sunday, like, chill out time, post curry for me. Like, chill time. And yeah, after, I was just saying last night, I drank cider for the first time in years, and I've not been feeling too fresh today, so that was very welcome. A little pause.
Looking fresh as always, though.
I mean, I'm repping the merch.
Love it.
Repping the merch.
Solidarity Not Silence t-shirt.
Yeah.
If you don't know what that is, look it up.
Look it up. Yeah, educate yourself.
Yeah, it's a very, very good cause. Very good cause.
Yeah.
So obviously things have changed. Things have changed massively for everyone, and gigs have changed, drags have changed, shows have changed. And as Claire mentioned at the beginning of the year, we did an all-dayer show. It was the first one we've ever done. It was a very special event. It went like clockwork, which freaked us both out.
But then this happened. I feel like that was the accumulated karma.
Yeah, exactly.
It was our fault.
Yeah,
the accumulated karma of a day of
Yeah.
dealing with drag performers, bands, just a marketplace, everything. And we managed to do it, and it ran pretty well. And the only bit that went wrong was all because of me anyway. So yeah, it was lush, and we're so lucky. we're so lucky in Bristol. We have such an amazing queer scene, but obviously there's different little pockets of the queer scene within the UK. But obviously we're based in Bristol, so we can only really comment on our little corner of it. Yeah, it was incredibly fun. And the next band coming up didn't only just play that, but they also we did a Pride extravaganza last year.
Yeah. So Cosmic Ninja have played 3 punker shows so far, and they've headlined 2 of them. So that's how much we love them. They always bring the party. They are incredibly hardworking, really, really lovely people. Obviously a queer-fronted band as well, and just write songs about, giving queer people their power, and we love that. The song that they've sent to us is their new single. It came out last month. And this is the music video that no one else has seen, so it's another premiere. This is a live version of the new single, but the new single is called Break the Silence. I think the lyrics kind of speak to a lot of what's been going on in the world as well. But yeah, this is another premiere, so this is from Cosmic Ninja, and this is Break the Silence.
I'm holding, I'm there and I'm golden. These pages I'm trolling as dangers unfolding. The message distorted, it's under-reported. The virus, we caught it, those monsters cause this is not okay. So listen what we say, cause you're conflicted, self-inflicted and in disarray. When it's getting kind of sick, then we're putting up a stick. And you wanna have a dream, but you lean and you find that we're in the shit. When the world's in a twist and I'm starting to get pissed, I must insist, resist. So I must insist, resist. So I must insist, resist. The world is in a state of disrepair. Don't let them decide your fate, or think that no one cares. Break the silence. If you're gonna swallow me whole, I'll bring you that way. Break the silence. If you're gonna live in this hole and keep your eyes wide open. Break the silence. You'll just swallow me whole and then you spit me right out of your. Break the silence.
Hello, welcome back.
Ooh, how good
You
was
may have
that?
noticed we have someone with us. Ooh, new person.
Look at the difference in camera.
I love that introduction. That was great.
New person. Well, thank you so much to Cosmic Ninja for that. Get well soon, Tamsin, as well. I know they've been poorly lately. That's what Tamsin sounds like when they don't have a bad throat. It's fucking incredible. Well done for that. It's amazing. Thank you for sending us that video. So, Stu, would you like to introduce our lovely new guest?
Yeah, so I kind of discovered the Subways about 15 years ago, hearing the song that turned 15 yesterday.
Yeah.
And it was kind of, it was all over the TV and all over the radio, and I loved it. And I think I've seen you guys perform 5 times.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's so cool.
I've seen you
Fanboy.
climbing
I
the
love
walls of the
it.
Bristol Academy and
wow.
climbing around in Thekla and stuff like that. So this is Billy Lunn from the Subways. How are you doing?
Hello. I'm great. I'm here in my studios. We've been doing. We were meant to be on touring the 15th anniversary of Young Fraternity, which is the album on which Rock and Roll Queen features.
That one.
Amazing. Good props. But coronavirus and everything like that. I've been writing our new album whilst I was at uni, and I'm sort of continuing now because I'm producing and engineering it as well. So I've just used that time to come into the studio and just crack on with that. So I'm spending like 10 hours a day in the studio, and it's a really great place. I feel so lucky being able to sort of come here and just shut off and from the rest of the world and just make noise. It's lovely.
Sure.
I feel
How is that album 5?
Sorry?
How is album 5?
Oh, it's great. Yeah, it's I was playing some songs to our manager today, and he's really excited. Which he's always really subdued. So when his right eyebrow goes like that, it's like, yeah, it's cool. It's working.
Well, yeah. So we've obviously thank you so much for coming in here with us today. So we've got
pleasure.
questions for you.
Great.
So obviously it's a really strange time for artists at the moment and musicians alike. Just wondered how you've been kind of using that the lockdown process for you. Is it been more creative for you without distraction, or how are you finding it?
It's sort of, it goes in waves. Like there are periods, and I'm quite a depressive, so I try and stay creative as a way to sort of just keep the gears turning, keep the
I think we can all relate.
Yeah. So like sometimes if I'm feeling down, I'll come in and I'll be creative, and even if nothing comes of it, even if nothing like fruitful comes of it, it's just indulging in the process is really helpful. But I found that being able to step back and realize how lucky I am, how privileged I am in my situation, and doing what I can to use my voice to try and speak for those who are probably suffering the worst in society at the moment, given lockdown and given the fact that we have a hyper conservative government in the UK at the moment. Just so I'm being as active as I possibly can on social media whilst not losing myself in the poison of that,
which has been so hard to do. I think the last 3 weeks especially, like it's really hard to balance that kind of want to kind of be an activist and be able to use your voice in a useful way to those who were silenced, but also not to do it so much that you bog yourself down. Like I think that's a really important lesson that I've definitely had to learn in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, and it's a tough lesson to learn, and I found it really, really difficult, and it's something I have to keep relearning over and over again, because I have this propensity to, especially if I'm dealing with someone I consider particularly ignorant or bigoted, I lose myself in absolutely trying to convince themselves that there's another side to this, that maybe they're not looking at this with a broad enough perspective, or they're just not taking people's feelings or emotions into consideration with regard to their worldview. And you just have to remind yourself that sometimes people are just not going to listen, and this kind of discourse is never going to help them. And
and I also think online is not the place sometimes.
And
unfortunately at the moment we're all so frustrated we can't get out there and have these physical conversations, and online sometimes just feels like a poisonous bog.
It is. It's bad, and you really have to indulge in some self-care as well. I mean, I find it really difficult just like putting things away, even just putting the guitar away and like being in the moment, just kind of like existing and breathing, because if you can find yourself and find your grounding, then you'll be able to help others as well as yourself. So a lot better and a lot more effectively.
So speaking of self-care, I take it you listen to quite a lot of music yourself that isn't hopefully just you.
I never I can't listen to me. This is
Okay.
like I have real self-loathing problems. So even when people are like congratulating me or enjoying stuff, I'm like, oh please, like, you know. So I can never really listen to myself until it, like, I've only recently been able to listen to Young Fraternity. You know, there were periods when after people at uni found out that I was in a band, and they sort of search my band on Spotify, and then sometimes like someone would have a laptop and then they'd just like press play and Rock and Roll Queen would come on, and I'd just run out of the room. I'd be like, no, if you want me here, that's going to have to
Don't play it.
but no, I'm a huge music fan. I've been using like Bandcamp
Yeah.
a lot, like
Have
recently.
you had any lockdown discoveries?
Yeah, well, there's this band who contacted me in about December. They're called Cat Bear, and they're LGBTQ plus artists, and they sort of just messaged on Twitter, and we get this all the time, and I love it, like, because I always like just sit like clicking links and finding out what happens. But they said, oh, we're big fans, and we're a duo, and we've got this new song, and we'd really like you to let us know what you think of it. And I fell in love. Like, it spoke to me so hard, and it's so beautiful. And this act called Cat Bear, and they've just released, like today they released a new song on Bandcamp, and I was just like rubbing my hands in glee, just like, oh my god, there's new music. But yeah, I've been building my studio over the last 3 or 4 years, and a big part of that is sort of getting my vinyl player cracking.
Nice.
Over there. That's like a first. There's a reissue of Young Fraternity, our first record, and there's our manager always gives us like 0001, 0002 copies, so it never gets played. Don't worry, I don't play my own stuff. But I've sort of been indulging in becoming an audiophile again. Going away to uni and putting my guitar down for a while was a great way for me to just step back away from the whirlwind, outside the storm, where sometimes, yeah, you know, you play gig after gig after gig, and all you do is sort of hear your own stuff and maybe the support band, which, you know, if you're playing 30 odd shows, you sort of you limit that because you want to make it last. And you kind of keep your ear up, but a lot of the time your ears are really exhausted. So whilst I was at uni and I was spending most of my time in books and in libraries, I just listened to music on when I was walking out again, you know, across the city or on a train or whatever, and just getting into music that otherwise I would never probably have given the time of day for. Like, I've been getting really, really into like early 90s hip hop.
Nice.
Synthwave. I'm a huge fan of synthwave now. I'm buying. I follow this Russian label on Bandcamp and called Synthwave Radio.
Yeah,
and they released like these reissues, these remix albums. Like recently they just released, and I think it's raising money for a charity, but it's a bunch of synthwave artists remixing a lot of the soundtrack from Stanley Kubrick's films. So the latest one was The Shining. And
I need to tell my partner about that. That sounds.
Do. And just sort of just put it on the stereo, and you can download it in like the highest quality format.
Yeah,
all the basses really come through.
They'll love that.
That sounds incredible.
So we touched on it a little bit. Obviously, you recently had an article in the Gay Times about the fact that you did come out as bisexual. Was it this year that it was public, or was it?
It was kind of like February, and I've been talking to my wife about this and sort of the way that I came out, and it's never really been like, oh, by the way, like I'm bisexual, and I've never really told anyone. It was like, I think I'd said in February on Twitter, like, as someone who's as attracted to the opposite sex as I am my own sex. And I just had like this realization. I was like, I'm bisexual.
I've just come out.
And it's like the power of suppression, you know, the power of societal oppression, you know, of like, this is the kind of person you should be, or this is the person we want you to be, and therefore you kind of. And I found myself just acting these roles, and I've had these 3 years away from being in the band. I've been able to step back and just go, oh, who who am I? Like, what am I? What do I believe? Like, who am I in here? And I went through therapy over the 3 years whilst I was at uni. And during like these dialogical conversations and sometimes it was just like monological of me, just like talking at my therapist and looking out the window. And you'd sort of just go, oh my God, this is how I feel. And I found that I'm like this, I'm so fragmented. I've been so fragmented over the years of trying to play these roles that I believe the people I love want me to play. And there have been like these incremental moments of realization. And I was saying to my wife, I never really sat down with anyone and gone, just to let you know, I'm bisexual, and I've never, you know, I'm slowly but surely coming to terms with this. It was like I'll just turn around to my wife and I'll go, oh my God, like, you know, I'm going through this thing at the moment, and yeah, I just said on Twitter that I'm as attracted to the opposite sex, my same sex, as I am the opposite sex, and I feel like you need to know that I'm consciously identifying myself as bisexual now. And with my parents, they found out through Gay Times, but my mum's going through therapy at the moment as well, because she's working class and she's worked all her life, and I think she's worked herself to the bone into illness, and she's going through an illness at the moment. She's sort of recovering through that, and we think it's just because she's been putting off these feelings and these emotions and these events, traumatic events of PTSD for decades now. And she said to me, Billy, we were all convinced you were gay. Like we were so sure that you were gay, and then, you know, you would bring home these girlfriends, and we thought eventually he's going to sort of just tell us he's gay. And you know, they were so pleased and so proud to have read the Gay Times article, because I never even told them. I never, you know, I just assumed, but at the same time there were like these people in my life and in my family who'd convinced me that being gay or having gay feelings was wrong. I was so badly bullied in school. I went to a boys' school, and I've always been quite effeminate. And there was, you know, I'm an alcoholic. I've been sober 6 years now.
Oh,
and
well done.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But I, you know, a lot of these problems that have arisen in my life have been, I think, as a way of me
keeping it all in.
Yeah, of like denial. So I've over the course of these coming months, because of the beautiful LGBTQ plus community, I have been able to come to terms with who I am, how I feel, and slowly but surely be okay with that. Because there have been moments where I've in my life where I've kind of accepted that I've been attracted and want to start a relationship, or maybe have like sexual encounters with certain people, and because of the events and the things that have been said to me over my life, I've found ways of curbing that. And I'm still at the moment like there are moments when I feel certain things, and I'm having to confront the initial response to that.
I think it's a really common thing when you come out as bisexual as well, is that it's such a complex thing, because I'm in a straight relationship currently.
Right.
I have had relationships with women as well. I also identify as non-binary, so that was a whole other thing that I chucked into the equation. The thing about being bisexual is it does still, even though the LGBTQ community is very, very loving, and we're really lucky, we have a fantastic, like I said, our community is incredible, but there is still quite a lot of biphobia and bi-erasure within our own community. So I also think that it's very common for bisexuals to feel quite fragmented, because we are kind of straddling two worlds, and you're not gay enough for one, and you're not, it's that classic feeling. So I think,
feel like an imposter. That's how I feel.
I think a lot of people feel like that are bisexual, and I think a lot of the bisexual experience, especially from my point of view, has been about accepting that about me, and like accepting that I can straddle those two worlds. I'm just as valid, but it's a part of me. And I didn't come out to my parents. My parents found out through a magazine article about me in Bristol 24/7.
There we go.
So, like, and I was like, well, if you're going to come out like that, and I was like, oh mum, that's why I work in the drag industry, essentially. They weren't exactly shocked, I'll be honest, but I think the bisexual experience will always be a fragmented one. So it's really interesting that you said that, because we're not quite there yet when it comes to bisexual kind of erasure. And I know that I know that Stu's story is quite interesting when it comes to coming out and things like that as well.
Yeah, I mean, I came out at 33.
Wow.
So, you know, a lot
Congratulations to both of you for you know.
Yeah, we're late bloomers.
Yeah, and I think
all of us, like
the stuff that you go through when you're in the, you know, the younger stages of your life, where I found myself, I was in a very small town, surrounded by a really amazing group of friends who were all very laddie lads, and every other slur that comes out is, you know, it is queer, it is puff, it is fag, everything like that, and them not thinking about it because I wasn't out, so I instantly knew that everything was bad in terms of those words, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it does create this kind of place in your brain where you just sort of lock certain things away and just say, okay, well, I'm not going to deal with that for a while, and you know, and it does create a sort of snowball thing. I think
all three of us are also of a generation, there is a slight generation change as well. Like, we're lucky, we work with really, really young queens that are like 18, 19, that are like so secure in their sexuality and so out, and I'm so jealous of them. I wish I had that, like. And I think we still come from this weird kind of in-betweeny time. I know myself and this, who I talk with, we're post, you know, the AIDS crisis, so there was still a lot of shame within our own community as well that was kind of going on. So I do find it like our kind of mid-30s to mid-40s kind of range, a lot of us are kind of late to the party, I think. So it's really lovely to be able to talk to you about it, because I think it's a conversation that doesn't happen enough, to be honest.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me, and it's so amazing talking to you both about your experiences. And I think that's something that I'm finding quite deeply touching, like profoundly touching. Is I think a sense of isolation is just, you know, because we're not part of the heterosexual community. We're not, you know, we feel imposters in the gay community. So being able to engage with other people who feel as not compartmentalized, not sort of categorized in the same way that some communities, even though they're like marginalized to a degree, but to a great degree, and oppressed, they are able to define themselves. And I think that's what been one difficulty for me, is that I've never really found a sense of self.
I think what comes with the word queer, because we've said this before, haven't we, Stu? Like, the word queer is all encompassing, so it's an umbrella term. A lot of people still find it uncomfortable, but personally, as soon as I heard that word, that was it. It all fell into place then. I found my little tribe. Like, we're all so like, you know, everyone's got each other's backs, but it's not the traditional gay scene. And I know that Stu has experienced the same thing. The male gay scene is quite, it has its own problems, let's be honest, and it can be just as judgmental and just as scary sometimes. So yeah, I think that for me, it was finding that word just changed everything.
Amazing.
I think it was quite a strange one, because when I came out and went into sort of the gay scene, I did find that it was a kind of you know, a white cis gay world, and all the club nights were for people who wanted to listen to pop princesses and stuff, and that wasn't me. But then also, as I started going to more gigs and being out in the queer scene, I started recognizing a lot more people who were going to, like, oh hey, I recognize you from the Skunk and Nancy gig, and oh hey, I recognize you from going to see Placebo, and it kind of happened like that. And I was like, wait a minute, I could totally create a club night for alternative people in the queer scene. And
amazing.
You know, and obviously that turned into punker, but it did surprise me how it did feel like you had to sort of fit into a category even then. Like, you were kind of like, okay, well, you must like Cher now. And I'm like,
hey, I won't hear a word against Cher.
Careful.
Twitter profile is everything.
But, you know, let's face it, like, I was walking around clubs with, you know, I have a Subways t-shirt, I have you know, many garbage t-shirts, you know, and I just walk around with that all the time, and people were just looking at me like, who's this idiot? So yeah, I think when I found the sort of queer community, especially the performing community in terms of like bands and the drag community, and especially, you know, people like Claire, I think that word queer kind of made me, as I said, it made me realize that it's a lot more encompassing, and it makes you feel a lot more like a family instead of, you know, people have got your back. And sometimes we do have to remind people that there is a B in LGBTQ, but when you you know, when you say queer, I think it does help a lot more. And I think it does feel a bit more accepting.
See, this is the really interesting thing, and this is I think that there's a natural part of the journey, and I think it's a natural part of any journey when you sort of come to terms with something, or maybe even you just introduce yourself to something. I'm still getting to grips with the nomenclature. I'm still getting to grips as like a white cis male. I'm still kind of I'm trying to be as considerate and open-minded and careful about like the words that I use and how I define myself within sort of a nexus or even a matrix of like various definitions and that kind of thing. And the word queer, I've kind of like, I don't think I've confronted it enough. I don't think I've like engaged with it enough. I don't think I've even just like researched it enough. And until I've made that venture, I'm still quite like, I'm still keeping my distance, just because the last thing I want to do is to upset a community that have been so incredibly welcoming to me during my discovery. So
I won't worry, we've all dropped so many kindness.
I think like this is the thing, isn't it? I think like we it's realizing as well that it's okay to make mistakes.
Definitely.
And as long as you own it and accept as an ally that, you know,
just being open to making those mistakes as well, and being open to the feedback and taking it on and not taking it as an attack. I think we a lot of conversations right now online need to learn that. Right, shall we get to the video?
Great.
Would you two like to talk about this music stuff?
Yeah, I mean, so obviously yesterday was the 15th anniversary of this song being released, is that right?
That's right, yeah. Rock and Roll Queen, I wrote this song when I was about 16, 17 years old, and it's apparent in the lyrics. I mean, there are probably about 4 lines of lyrics in the entire song, but Rock and Roll Queen was like a real, like at the time I was really into punk music, and I was listening, I don't know if you can tell, but I was listening to a lot of Buzzcocks as well, and I've related throughout my life quite heavily with Pete Shelley. And one of our first gigs in 2003, 2004, as we were starting to play more and more shows outside of Hertfordshire where we grew up, one of those first shows was at Reading Union supporting Buzzcocks. And I'll always remember Pete Shelley sitting backstage with me and my mum, because I'd take my mum on tour with me, and she'd sort of sell some merch, and she'd help me write a lot of the CDs out. You know, that people have still got CDs of like the demo version of Rock and Roll Queen in my mum's handwriting.
Oh, that's
so
adorable.
I'm like, because my mum through her entire life has always written in all capitals. So she, like, I can still see Rock and Roll Queen written out in her handwriting.
That's amazing.
Rock and Roll Queen has been one of those songs that it was one of our first releases off Young Fraternity in 2005, and it's taken us all around the world. And because of the simplicity of the song, I've been able to sing the third verse, which is just, you are the sun, you are the only one, you are so cool, you are so rock and roll. I can sing that in 20 plus languages. So we've yesterday we announced we've re-recorded and we're re-releasing Rock and Roll Queen 2020 with the third verse sung in 20 different languages.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And it's being released on my fave Bandcamp. So if you're Russian and you've heard me sing Rock and Roll Queen in Russian when we've been playing in Russia, Tislnashka, Major, then you can download that. If it's in Belarusian or Czech or Greek or Italian, Portuguese, so and English as well. So.
Awesome. Shall we show the video?
Yeah.
I'm so
Okay.
sorry if I talked over you as well, by the way. Like,
You're
I'm
the
such a-
guest.
I'm such a
We
blabber.
talk enough. It's fine.
Do you want to introduce your own video?
Oh, great, yeah. Or do you want to introduce it? Feel free. It would be an honour if you did it.
So this is something that we play at Punker regularly, and it always goes down very, very well on the dance floor. This is the video, 15 years old. This is Rock and Roll Queen.
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that video. A little bit of stop saying 15 years old as well, Stu, because like I feel old enough. Like we were saying, we remember when it was being shown on what was it, the
box,
TV channel, the box,
Yeah.
channel, and then I was like, oh god, I could just all these flashbacks of
Yeah. Like when that came out, MySpace was still alive, and
yeah.
it just when I look back and I think like it's a decade and a half ago when we released our first song, and
Terrifying, isn't it?
I'm 35 now, 36 this year, and I'm like the darker side of 30 in my 30s. So I get like these panicky moments, and I have to sort of fan myself a little bit, like it's going to be okay. 40's
I'm
not
thinking,
bad.
I'm 32, but I keep saying I'm 33 because I feel like I constantly just try and make myself like prepared for the next birthday.
In my head, I'm like, yeah, I'm 37, and then you can kind of go, no, I'm 35. Everything's okay.
Yeah.
I'm 37. You kind of like, yeah.
Okay, guys, like stop with the age.
Sorry, this is. I know.
I turned 39 on Tuesday.
I know.
You look 29, darling. You look amazing.
Really do not.
Yeah.
Like it's insane though, because like obviously I followed all of your albums all the way through, so it's weird that when this came around I was like, is it really 15 years?
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like it.
Yeah,
so, it's crazy, but that was such a good. Do you have any memories from that video?
Yeah, a lot. We were up too early in the morning, much too early in the morning. All I know is that the label spent £25,000 on that video because it costs so much. We shot the video inside a marquee, which is essentially like the Enemy tent. So I think we like rented the Enemy tent, and the production crew, they lit the place. So it was we tried to make it look like it was at the end of a festival weekend, and we were just playing in the wreckage of all of that. But yeah, it was really, really early in the morning. We were out in this farmland, and it was freezing cold because I think it was like February or something. We shot the video in time for June, and yeah, it was mad. And I still had like a Nokia. Those were the days. I remember taking like these really crappy, I've still got the pictures like somewhere hidden somewhere in my computer, but these really grainy pictures of us,
those were the days of flip phones for me.
Yeah, flip
so many
phones and all
secondhand
that.
flip phones. I don't know who I thought I was. I think I thought it was in The Wire or something.
Or the Matrix. I was after that Nokia Matrix phone.
Yeah.
Ages, the one that went and it just sort of opened out.
Yeah. Oh, nostalgia. There we go. All old is what we got from that one.
Retro. So, that's what it is.
Yeah,
we're being retro.
Yeah. So that was our end of our episode, I'm afraid. Thank you to everyone who's joined us and every one of the performers that obviously gave us videos. It's been it's been a strange time to create shows at the moment, and it's so lovely to have people like you, Billy, giving us a chance as well. Like, online platforms is such a strange thing to navigate, but things like this I think are really going to help up and coming musicians and things like that, and we're so passionate about putting the LGBTQ plus performers out there for everyone to see. So yeah, any closing words, Stu?
No, I've really enjoyed this. It's been like my first sort of chance to host anything like this, and it's been actually quite nice. And it just feels like I'm chatting to my mates, which is odd because I haven't actually met Billy before.
We're not mates.
We're massive mates now, all of us. Yeah.
No, it's been amazing. we do have music videos from lots of different artists that's been sent to us. So for the next few weeks should be quite interesting.
Yes, we've got the 5th of July will be our next one of these. We've also Wig in a Box on our channel. If you haven't joined us before, we do a D&D session every other Wednesday, and then on the Wednesdays in between we usually do a thing called Tavern Talk, which is just us and some of the drag mates having a chat, playing games, things like that, just on our Twitch channel. It's basically just filth, but join us every Wednesday at 7:30 for one of those two things. And that is hosted by our dungeon master Jamie, who you can't see but I can see the whole time, who is now swearing at me, who is our amazing tech god, who has helped me through this whole journey of doing these things, but also does it absolutely for free because he needs a little white knight award. So yes, thank you, Jamie. Thank you again, Billy, for coming on. It was absolute.
Thank you for having me. It's always such an honor and such a pleasure. Feeling welcomed into the LGBTQ plus community. You guys have been so incredible, and this is such a beautiful organization. And also, I've just realized I seriously need to get into some D&D.
Oh well, you can definitely be a guest, Jamie.
Oh, I'd love to.
Yeah, if you want to be a guest, there you go.
That'd be great.
So yeah, I suppose it's time to say goodbye to everyone. Thank you for spending your Sunday evening with us. We will be back on the 5th of July. Thank you, Stu, obviously, as ever. And yeah, thank you to everyone for joining us. And
thank you.
See you on the 5th of July.
See you soon, 5th of July. Bye.